It was a quiet Thursday evening in Portland, Oregon, and Emily Carter had just finished setting the table for dinner. The autumn air outside was crisp, and the smell of roasted garlic and herbs filled her small apartment. Tonight wasn't just another dinner, it was the first time she'd invited Daniel Brooks, her old college friend, to her home in years. Emily had spent the whole day preparing, not just the meal, but herself. She wasn't trying to impress him, at least that's what she told herself. But deep down, she wanted him to see her differently, not as the girl who used to share study notes, but as the woman she had become. When she looked at her reflection in the mirror, she smiled nervously. Her dress was simple, a soft navy blue with long sleeves and a modest neckline, yet elegant enough to make her feel confident. She didn't wear it to get attention. She wore it because it made her feel like herself again. Daniel arrived right on time, knocking gently on the door. Emily opened it and was greeted by his warm, familiar smile. "Wow, Emily, you look great," he said, slightly taken aback. She laughed softly. "It's just dinner, Daniel." "Yeah. But it's been a while. You've changed." "So have you," she replied, noticing the streak of gray in his hair that somehow made him look wiser. As they sat down, the conversation flowed easily. Memories of college, old friends, dreams they'd forgotten to chase. Emily noticed how Daniel's eyes softened when she spoke, how he genuinely listened, as if every word mattered. Halfway through dinner, he said quietly, "I don't remember the last time I felt this comfortable anywhere." Emily looked up. "Maybe because this feels like home," she said before realizing how intimate that sounded. She blushed slightly and tried to change the topic. After dinner, they moved to the balcony with cups of hot cocoa. The city lights shimmered below like tiny fireflies. Daniel leaned on the railing and looked at her. "You know, when I got your message inviting me, I almost didn't come." "Why not?" "I thought maybe you had moved on, forgotten about old friends like me." Emily smiled. "I could never forget you, Daniel. You were always the kindest person I knew." He hesitated for a moment, then said softly, "I noticed the way you looked tonight. You didn't have to do all this, the dress, the dinner." She interrupted, flustered, "It wasn't for you." Daniel laughed gently. "I know, but maybe that's what makes it mean more." There was a pause, a comfortable one. The kind where silence says more than words. As the night went on, rain began to fall softly. Emily invited him to stay until it passed. They sat by the window, watching raindrops trace the glass, their reflections side by side. Daniel turned to her and said, "I miss this, being around someone who feels real." She looked at him and smiled, her voice barely above a whisper, "Then maybe don't let it go this time." The rain didn't stop that night, and neither did their conversation. They talked about second chances, about fears, about finding meaning again in simple things, like dinner with someone who makes you feel seen. When Daniel finally stood to leave, he looked at her one last time and said, "You didn't wear that to get my attention, Emily, but you did remind me what warmth feels like." Emily smiled, a little shy but peaceful. Then maybe it was worth it. As she closed the door, she leaned against it, her heart full, not of excitement, but of peace. Because sometimes, the most beautiful moments aren't about romance or passion. They're about being noticed for who you truly are.